They're known today throughout Dallas for cleaning up Thomas Eric Duncan's hospital room and his girlfriend's apartment, and the apartment belonging to the first U.S. nurse who contracted Ebola, Nina Pham. The company is called CG Environmental. They're known as the cleaning guys. Owner Eric McCallum joins me now live from Dallas. Eric, you're in a difficult business at a difficult time when there is enormous fear of this disease, perhaps too much fear, but you're really at the tip of the spear here. Can you describe to our viewers what you have to do to make one of these rooms safe?
Well, we've got specific protocols that we follow. Protocol has been a word, a topic now, but we train for biological, and this is a biological event, so we wear protective gear, of course, the correct protective gear. And when we go into a home or say the hospital here, we have steps that we take for disinfecting things. We have the ability to use chemicals that a lot of other people, of course, can't use or purchase. And then, of course, the gear, on the removal of the gear, that's you know, the most important part of this whole event is getting the gear off and get it off properly after it's been disinfected.
Yeah, it's interesting as we've been watching video there, as you've been talking of when your team was cleaning out that apartment, and I'm struck by the gear that you were wearing, clearly top of the line, and it seems was better, more thorough than the gear that some of the health workers were wearing when they were treating an Ebola patient. I wonder, are there guidelines, are there national guidelines issued by the CDC or others that tell you the precautions you have to take to be 100% safe?
The CDC does have guidelines. We do go over and beyond what the guidelines are that they recommend for this. We take it very seriously. I won't allow my guys to go on any of these scenes without more than enough gear. So we go over the top.
You're hearing stories of folks that just didn't want to get involved. It was difficult initially to find the companies willing to do what you do. Have you had that experience at all, that people that work for your company say, you know, this is too much, I'm not going to go in there and clean out anything if Ebola is involved?
Well, again, we train for biological. Of course, we never thought this would come to our country. But again, this is what we train for, and this is a biological event. So if the protocols are followed correctly and the gear is removed and disinfected, of course, properly, then there's really no risk of getting Ebola. But it's when you cut corners and not follow the protocol that, you know, those things happen.
I think that's an important message, that there are. I think that's an important message for our audience that you make there, Eric, that there are ways to prevent transmission of this disease, and if you follow those protocols, you're safe.
Absolutely. That's exactly correct.
Now, your company has an interesting role that I imagine our viewers might not be aware of, but you're caring for Nina Pham's dog, Bentley, Nina Pham being one of the nurses who caught Ebola from Thomas Eric Duncan. How do you do that, and how did you end up doing that?
Well, to be clear, right now we're not. There's some veterinarians there, but yes, we have been there, and from what I'm being told, we're going to be turned back on to that again. But you know, we go in, we bring the dog out of his cage, and of course, you know, feed him and play with him, and you know, give him some interaction, because this is a very important aspect of our job, quite honestly, because we realize that this animal is very important to Nina, and we want to be sure that the dog is well taken care of, because I would want my dogs to be well taken care of if I was laying in that bed. So yeah, we take top priority on that for sure. So we feed and clean and do all the things that need to happen with the dog, you know, when we're there.
Well, Eric McCallum, part of the overall response to this. Thanks very much for what you do.